Happy New Year, everybody. Kat here. Welcome to my channel. I would just love it if you could join me today so I can show you how I paint these fireworks. I have my tea ready, and so you should go get yours, get comfy, and let's get started and have some fun together. So to start with, I have a list of the paints that I used. That's just a guideline, something red, something yellow, something blue. And I'm using my Artist Loft watercolor paper. I thought I'd try it out. In the middle of this video, though, I do end up changing the paper because I just can't layer on it. So I'm using some blue and yellow here with, I think I mixed in a little bit of the Payne's Gray too to get a turquoisey color. And so what I'm trying to do here is just do the 4 or 5 different colors of fireworks, and then I will be using masking fluid. I'm sure there are other ways. I've tried using candle wax, like I take a birthday candle and then I just do the same thing I'm going to do with the masking fluid, and it just has a bit of a different look. It's not as sharp and colorful because the candle wax picks up on the tooth of your paper, so it doesn't go in the grooves as much as you might want it to. And that is a resist, the candle wax. That acts as a resist. I'm sorry, I am running on no sleep this weekend. It's not because I'm a party animal. It's because I've been eating too much junk food, I think, so I'm not sleeping properly. I'm sure half of you can relate, at least. So just spread out your colors. It doesn't matter if they touch. In fact, if they bleed into each other, it's kind of fun. As I said, this is the Artist Loft watercolor paper. It's not cotton. So look at that orange. Look at that. Just spreads in the water. Certain colors do like to spread more than others, and that's fun. That looks like a firework all in itself. And this is a cerulean blue, I think, that I used here. And I'm trying, it looks a little uniform, but once I spread out the colors, and I try to make them different sizes, and later when we add the masking fluid, that'll be what makes them look unique from each other. So this is a Pebeo masking fluid pen. Now, I have not had good luck with this thing, so I decided to add it into the video so that you would see. So what you do is you shake it up really well, in case you don't know, and you push down on the nib, and the masking fluid begins to flow out, and it's supposed to afford you this beautiful thin line, but I find it just scratches right back off. So as soon as you put it on, the nib scratches it off. I can't get the I try to go more slowly, and that seems to work for about a second, and then it dries up. And I have no luck with masking fluid, really. I like the idea of it, but I find it very finicky. So I just continue to add different shapes of lines. So what I mean is, some of the fireworks will look like they just burst open, and other fireworks will tend to look like they're starting to fall. And just try to alternate between your brush strokes so that you get some variation. So I switched to a very thin brush, and I'm loading it up with some soap, and then I'm changing to my Dr. P.H. Martin masking fluid. And I have a bit better luck with this masking fluid itself is better. I like it better than the Pebeo. And the brush, I was having better luck with the brush than that pen. It dries up too quickly. I think this is the problem when you're trying to get a thin line with mask. It just doesn't stay wet long enough. So with this brush, I'm alternating between short and long brush strokes. And you'll see why later after we do the dark layer of paint. I just sped this up because I'm doing the same thing for quite a while. I don't want to bore you. It's only sped up by 1.5 times, so that's easy to fix. If you want to slow it down on your YouTube, you can do it through YouTube. So I just splash on some masking fluid as well, and just little dots and just to make them look like stars and kind of exploding lights. And of course I'm not very good at splashing, so okay, so here's my new painting. This is the new paper. This is B paper. It's 100% cotton, and I switched to this because it was just too streaky. You really can't layer very much on a cellulose paper. So I switched to my B, and this is neutral tint. So I'm just slightly going around the edges of my lights, my fireworks, and then I'm filling in with the neutral tint. This is just the first coat. I really wasn't sure how dark I wanted to go at this point. I had not planned this out. I just knew what I wanted to paint. And so so you're going to find out at the same time I did. And I'm just dabbing in darker shades of the neutral tint. And that'll help cover when I do add some darker paint. That'll help cover these lights, these fireworks a bit better. So this is my Payne's Gray. My Payne's Gray is quite blue. This is Winsor & Newton Payne's Gray, so it is quite blue. And so towards where that couple is sitting, oh, by the way, I just cut that out of some Mac Tack I used, and then I stuck it to my painting. Instead of drawing it and going around it, I just drew it on Mac Tack and stuck it on. So the lights are kind of shining down on them from the sky. They're pretty far away though, but I still didn't want to have just one pitch black sky. You want some interest in your skies. So I'm adding that Payne's Gray to the neutral tint. That's what I'm doing down at the bottom right. And so I want it to get darker as we go to the edges of the paper and up above the fireworks. Now, when you do this, if I had done the fireworks smaller, I could have made those changes a little more subtly, but the paper was small and my fireworks were covering most of the width of that paper. So, but it turns out, now keep in mind when you're doing this, watercolor goes through a very unpleasant looking stage. It looks streaky. It looks like you're asking yourself, oh geez, what did I do? You just keep going. Just don't give up on it. So here I'm just scribbling in what looks like buildings, just rectangles and something tall enough, nothing fancy. And I'm just kind of softening that out into the horizon line there. I just don't want any harsh lines I don't want this to dry with any harsh lines, excuse me. So you will be drying this very soon because you can't do another layer of color until it's completely dry. So here I forgot to turn on my camera right away, so I put some blue. That is called marine blue, and I'm making like kind of strokes up towards the fireworks just so it lightens that sky a little bit there. It's a little brighter than the Payne's Gray. And I go in with more Payne's Gray and my neutral tint, and I darken the sky because I decide I don't like what it looks like. I want it darker. I want it to have more contrast. because those colors are nice and bright and fun. And if you have a neon set of paints, watercolors, you could always use those. Maybe you could use some glitter paint, but I do not know how masking fluid works on glitter paint. That would be something you could tell me about if you do try it. Yeah, I just keep adding more and more neutral tint to my Payne's gray till so it's so dark. But if you use just black paint, add a color to it, because black paint is extremely, it's so final, if you know what I mean. When you look at it on a painting, there's no light that shines through. And I know that sounds like a strange thing to say, but if you do have to use black because you don't have neutral tint, put blue in it or put purple in it. Make sure it's not just solid black. I'm just refining here, going over things. And I can't do that couple until I dry off this painting again. This has to be dried. Don't use a hair dryer when you're using masking fluid. If you do, make sure it's on a cool setting. Here I'm using a rigger brush with water in it, and I'm just making light strokes. So just so it looks like falling stars or fireworks kind of dying off into space. I didn't want to put too much though, because I wasn't sure if I really wanted it or not, but it looked okay in the end. So this is like a gel eraser, and I'm taking off the mask with the eraser. This one works quite well. This eraser, they have a special rubber one that takes off masking fluid, but I don't know. It's $10 or something for an eraser, and it just kills me to buy it. Or no, I saw it for 18 actually at the art store, so I said no way. And I use an old brush to take off the residue, and I'm filling in little spots where I had some trouble with the masking fluid, and it's sort of like spread too far, and it's nothing like that you would really notice. I just thought I'd do it since I had my rigger brush out. And I'm removing here the MacTac. This is like a fabulous thing. See how sharp the lines are? As long as you cut it out and stick it thoroughly, it works like a charm, and it doesn't tear your paper. So this now, I made a black with indigo and burnt sienna. And I did that because I wanted it to be a bit different, a shade than the shade in the sky. The sky is neutral tint with Payne's gray, and this is indigo blue with burnt sienna. So if you try to imagine that these people are illuminated by the fireworks, so there's going to be a slight edge of them that you don't want to paint. You want to leave it light. And now this is going to be done in two parts, but you can do a lot in the first go, because as long as they're wet, you can keep adding paint to them. So right now they look rather flat, and if you want to keep them like that, that's fine. But if you want to give them a bit of shape, you're going to start adding paint here and there to make it darker in some places and have lighter values in others. And I want them to sort of blend into the background, just sort of soften off into the background, so you don't know where they begin and where they end. So I'm adding even darker color behind them now, all while trying to leave the front of them a little lighter. The front and the top of them, I should say, because of the fireworks. And I noticed it must have been the sizing on the papers, or I might have maybe I scratched it or something, or I erased and it dried funny. Oh, before I tell you that, this is me removing paint, just leaving a highlight on these buildings so it looks like they're getting lit up too by the fireworks. So if you can see how the couple are drawing, they kind of have like a funny pattern in them. And I think I probably erased something on the paper and, it left it to dry funny. So I'm just removing a little bit of highlights here and there, trying to give things some shape. That's the collar of his shirt. And his arm, I added a highlight on the top of his arm that's around her back. And this is where I fix it because I did find they look mottled. So I'm adding more dark color to the part of him that's farthest from the light. And you can see by my brush strokes, they are not exact. They're just quite loose. They're soft. It's a nice soft brush I'm using. The paint it's milky, I would say. And now under his arm is even darker, as you can see. So now it kind of gives it shape, doesn't it? It's coming to life. And you can do this in different colors too if you like. I just chose the darks to but I don't know. I just chose the darks because that's what I thought of initially. And then as I was going, I thought it would look kind of cool if they were purple or something, or maybe a next painting. So with my white paint, as you know, if you watch my videos, you know how terrible I am at spraying white paint. I end up splashing it everywhere except the painting. So I go in manually and do it. I just want it to look like stars and just bits of firework kind of going off. You see the mottled look on the couple, especially the man, his shirt. So I have to go in and fix that too, but I do it off camera and I show you here what it ends up looking like. I just switch over. There you go. So that looks much better. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving me a like and subscribing to my channel. And have the happiest of New Year's. I wish you all the very best. Happy watercoloring. Bye-bye.